The AP will do it wrong, so we're here to do it right. It's another Monday here at the Gridiron Expert, which means it's time for our GE Top 25, heading into Week 9 of this college football season. Our own set of rankings, no bias from the AP, no bias from the playoff committee, strictly based on our metrics, strictly based on someone who watches the games, unlike the rest of the voters across the country. Someone who watches the games just like many of you actually watch the games. In Week 8, it was phenomenal, guys. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a wilder, more entertaining weekend in college football. 9 top 25 teams go down, 4 of them coming in the top 10. It had all the chaos that you'd ever want in college football. Our number 1 team in the country, Miami, got beat on Friday night to Louisville, so you're going to see a new number 1 in our rankings. You're going to see a lot of shakeups within the top 10. So much to look into, and it's only going to get crazier as we inch closer and closer to the end of the regular season. So a lot to jump into today. Let's go ahead and start in our top 10. Heading into Week 9, the Ohio State Buckeyes have reclaimed the number 1 spot, and that should not come as a surprise to anybody. I mean, it was really kind of 1A and 1B, I felt like, for Miami and Ohio State into Week 8. I like the Hurricanes' resume just a little bit better. They get beat by Louisville. Naturally, Ohio State moves up. So, really, you look at that. I actually have some similarities to the AP in the top 10. Not too many disagreements there. There really weren't many other ways to slice it. There really weren't many other ways to maneuver this top 10. Ohio State at 1. Indiana up a spot, of course. Again, Miami losing bumped those teams out just a minor spot. So Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, and Alabama all moving up 1 spot, 1 through 4. That's what we've got as of right now. All of them getting impressive victories. Ohio State, the shutout over Wisconsin. Indiana, the big win over Michigan State. A&M surviving Arkansas on the road. And then Alabama dominating Tennessee 37-20. Georgia over Oregon. That might be the biggest discussion point, I think, in the top 10. Obviously, to me, Georgia beating a top 5 team in Ole Miss, that resonated more with me than Oregon's dominant win over Rutgers. Very impressive for Oregon to go all the way across the country, fresh off a loss to Indiana, and to dominate that game by 46. Oregon's still an elite team, should be a playoff team. But to me, Georgia's win over Ole Miss, coming back down 9 in the fourth quarter, shutting the Rebels out by 17-0 in the fourth quarter to win 43-35. Again, a team that was higher ranked than them, too. That bumps them up over Oregon to me just slightly. Very, very close. But Georgia gets that 5 spot. Oregon at number 6. Georgia Tech moving up 4 spots. And they benefited from just the teams that lost ahead of them. You know, Miami loses ahead of them. LSU lost ahead of them. Texas Tech lost. Ole Miss lost. So all those top 10 teams losing, Georgia Tech, which was right on the outside of the top 10 for us, benefited. They skyrocket to number 7. They avoided a trap game. I mean, they were an underdog on the road against Duke. A lot of people picking Duke to win that game. We were not one of them, but a lot of people picking Duke to win that game, and Georgia Tech won by 9, 27-18. So the Yellow Jackets remain undefeated. They are the real deal. Georgia Tech is the real deal. They've got a very favorable schedule the rest of the way. Very well could find themselves in the ACC championship game. Very well could find themselves undefeated by season's end. The only loss possibly could be just Georgia. That's not going to affect them in the standings. Watch out for Brent Key's squad. This is a very, very good, dangerous team, and I think worthy of a top 7 spot. Miami drops to number 8. The ACC is going to be a wild race from now to the end of the year. It's going to be really interesting. I mean, you got Miami, Georgia Tech, SMU's not looking bad, even though they're not ranked. You've obviously got Virginia in the mix, so it's going to be a fun conference to watch. But Miami dropped 7 following their loss to Louisville. An uncharacteristic game by Carson Beck. He returned to his 2024 form. Typically, would not have expected him to throw 4 interceptions in a single game, even though Louisville didn't convert any points off of those turnovers. So Miami's defense did their job. The offense did not. They do drop 7. They're going to have to find a way to bounce back. Mario Cristobal prone to choking, prone to letting these games get away from him. One more could end their playoff hopes. They've got to find a way to hit the reset button really quickly, focus again, find a way to win out and keep those hopes alive. As of right now, they do. As of right now, they don't deserve to drop out of the top 10. They still have a very impressive resume. So number 8, Vanderbilt. How about Vandy, man? They could be a playoff team. I mean, that's unbelievable. We've got Vanderbilt moving up 8 spots. That win over LSU was impressive. A true team victory. I mean, Diego Pavia was doing it all. The defense was phenomenal. I mean, this Vanderbilt team is the real deal, guys. The only loss coming to Alabama, a game they were in for pretty much the entire game. Lost by 16, gave up that touchdown at the very end of the game. And this was a good Vanderbilt team one that, really could make the college football playoff. Having them at number 9 is unbelievable. Having them host College Game Day this weekend is unbelievable against Missouri. We'll have more on that game in a couple days. But don't sleep on the Commodores. I don't think anybody's sleeping on the Commodores. But, this number 9 ranking is well-deserved. Rising 8 spots for us into the top 10 following a win over a top 10 team at LSU. They deserve that. They deserve that. They have been a lot of fun to watch. I think they're kind of like America's team. I feel like a lot of people are pulling for the Commodores. Again, there aren't many glaring weaknesses on this team. Clark Lee has his guys believing, and they've completely bought in. So the schedule doesn't line up horribly for them. If they can survive Missouri, they got a lot of winnable games after that. Don't sleep on Vandy. You could see them maybe in the top 5 in a few weeks if they can get past Missouri this weekend. Ole Miss rounds out our top 10, down 3 spots. They don't deserve to plummet that much. First loss of the year, right, for Ole Miss. Again, they were leading Georgia by 9 on the road in the fourth quarter, and the defense just gave out on them. It was a shootout, back and forth, and the defense just could not hold on. Georgia made the plays when they needed to, but Ole Miss put up a heck of an effort. Trinidad Chambliss, his first ever road start, put up a clinic against this Georgia defense. So Ole Miss still a very, very good team, and if they can get past Oklahoma this Saturday, I think they're going to be in the clear for the playoff. They got a very favorable schedule after the Oklahoma game. The Rebels, in my opinion, are going to be just fine and still, to me, worthy of that top 10 spot. So, some shakeups there. New number 1 team, Indiana to number 2. The Georgia-Oregon debate, sure. Georgia Tech's in there. Vanderbilt's in there. Just like we all expected, Georgia Tech and Vandy, who met in the bowl game last year. They played each other in the postseason last year, both finding themselves in the top 10 with a shot at the college football playoff, just like we all predicted back in the preseason. Going to be a lot of fun to see how this shakes out in the coming weeks. Into the next bit, 11 through 20. Notre Dame and BYU both getting big-time wins. This last weekend, Notre Dame defeating USC by 10. So Notre Dame has won all of their games by double digits, USC being the biggest, most impressive one, I would say, because that was a ranked opponent, beating them by 10. BYU winning the Holy War over Utah, 24-21. Some would argue BYU should be above Notre Dame. I feel like that's very similar to that Georgia-Oregon debate. You can flop them. It's not that big of a deal, not that big of a difference. Both got very impressive victories. Both been playing very inspired, very impressive football. I know BYU's undefeated. I know Notre Dame has 2 losses. I get that. I still look at BYU's resume. A very, very good football team. Utah was their best win, right? The other one was double overtime victory over Arizona, a narrow win over Colorado. Their strength of schedule was not as good as that of Notre Dame. I know Notre Dame doesn't have that many great victories either, but for me, a major factor that goes into this is the eye test. It is the performance of a team. How strongly are they playing? And Notre Dame's only losses right now are to our number 3 and number 8 teams in the country by a combined 4 points. They have dominated everybody else, all by double digits. So BYU deserving credit for their win? Absolutely. Extremely impressive over Utah. Still number 12. Again, you could easily flip them, and it wouldn't matter. Both in the hunt for the playoff right now, but Notre Dame getting the 11th spot, BYU the 12th spot. We had Notre Dame above BYU last week. We keep that the same now. Both up 4 spots, 11, 12. Oklahoma remains the same after their big win over South Carolina, a good bounce-back win following their loss to Texas. Again, they got a big win, or game coming up, I should say, against Ole Miss this Saturday. More on that in the coming days. Texas Tech finally took their first loss, and it was an interesting one, right? Baron Morton doesn't play. I really had more faith in Will Hammond that he was going to do a much better job coming in at quarterback. He did not, but really it was the defense that truly let Texas Tech down as they lost 26-22 at Arizona State. Allowed Sam Levitt to throw for over 300 yards. Allowed the Sun Devils to go get that game-winning drive in the final minute and a half. Just not a good defensive performance from a team that had been so dominant on that side of the ball all season long. So the Red Raiders, despite having their backup quarterback, they drop 8 spots to number 14. It's going to be chaotic in the Big 12. I think the ACC and the Big 12 are going to be really fun races to watch from now to the end of the year because it's just chaotic at the top and only going to get more crazy over these next couple weeks as some of the elite teams do play each other. So Texas Tech down 8, Virginia down 1, partially because the team's moving ahead of them, partially because of their poor performance against Washington State. But maybe the Cougars are legit, right? They're not winning the games, but they gave Ole Miss a fight. They gave Virginia a fight. So they're playing better football than people thought they would. Virginia, again, only winning by 2, but still, in my eyes, a top 15 team. That win over Louisville looking a lot better now, especially winning that game on the road. Missouri up 3 spots following their win over Auburn. Survived that game in double overtime, 23-17. The Tigers, as we know, playing Vanderbilt this weekend. Going to be very interesting there. A game with SEC title and playoff implications. So a lot on the line on Saturday. Louisville jumps into our top 20, going from unranked, and they were right on the outside for us. We had Louisville ranked for the longest time. We had Louisville ranked in the preseason. Had them ranked for weeks on end. They lose to Virginia. We drop them out. They were kind of hovering there. You get a massive win as a 2-touchdown underdog in Miami. Yeah, you're going to jump back in. The Cardinals only have one loss, guys. They are still very much in the hunt for the ACC title, maybe even the playoff. I mean, they've got the talent to do so. We knew this was a talented team. I don't think 17th is too high for them. This is still a very, very good football team. Again, the only loss for them right now to Virginia. What was that, in overtime? So, very close to being undefeated. And if they were undefeated, they'd be probably a top 10 team for a lot of people right now. So 17th, very respectable, I think, for the Cardinals, who do jump back into our top 25. Tennessee down 6 following their loss to Bama. That 99-yard pick 6, that was the difference maker. That completely shifted momentum, completely changed everything. I mean, you look at the score, 37-20, that's a 14-point swing. You take 7 off the board for Alabama, you add 7 to Tennessee, it's a 30-27 game. Everything changes. That 99-yard pick 6 did everything. So Tennessee takes their second loss of the year. The margin for error significantly smaller for a team that's trying to make the playoff. Going to probably have to win out to get there, and that's going to be very tough to do with a very tough schedule the rest of the way. USF up 1 following their win over Florida Atlantic. Still the best Group of 5 team in the country right now. Big game on the road against Memphis. More on that game later this week as well. Cincinnati up 3 spots. Watch out for Cincinnati in the Big 12. The only 2 undefeated teams in conference play are BYU and Cincinnati. So the Bearcats could challenge for a Big 12 title. They're up 3 into our top 20 following a win at Oklahoma State. And then rounding out our top 25, we've got 3 newcomers in there. Arizona State jumps in following their win over Texas Tech. They're up to number 22. Again, they were right on the outside looking in. They're inconsistent. They're in, they're out, they're in, they're out. We'll see what the Sun Devils can do in the final few weeks of the year. Michigan back in following their win over Washington. A dominant win for them, winning by 17 over the Huskies. Houston, I like Houston. Willie Fritz got this team at 6-1. What a turnaround he's done in a very short time for the Cougars. They just beat Arizona 31-28. Only loss early in the year to Texas Tech. The Cougars could be a team to watch out for in the Big 12. He's got them playing really inspired football right now. Really like what I'm seeing. They've got a big game against Arizona State this Saturday. More on that game tomorrow here at the channel. But I like this Cougars team. We put them in over a team like USC who fell out, Utah who fell out, and then Tulane and Navy also right in the mix. But I like Houston just a little bit more to get them into that top 25. Obviously, LSU dropped 11. Lose to Vanderbilt. They were a top 10 team for us at the time. They lost to Vandy. We picked Vandy to win that game, so it's not really a shock to us, but it's just been a shock at how bad LSU has looked all year long. The schedule going to get a lot tougher. They're going to play A&M. They're still going to play Alabama. They're still going to play Oklahoma. The Tigers' playoff hopes are done. Right? They're not going to win out. It's not going to happen, and you can't help but wonder how much longer does Brian Kelly have in Baton Rouge. So 11 spots, a drop for LSU, still keeping them in, and Texas narrowly survived Kentucky. Just a horrendous performance. This Texas team is not that good, but the Oklahoma win, keeping everything alive for them, keeping them in the rankings, keeping their playoff hopes alive, keeping their SEC title hopes alive. Is it going to happen? Probably not, but they live to see another day with a narrow win over the Wildcats. I do drop them 2 spots, though, down to number 24. Just kind of hovering there for the time being. So, there you go, guys. Our Week 9 GE Top 25. Let us know who's too high, who's too low, who's ranked that shouldn't be, who's not ranked that should be. We want to hear from you. It was a wild Week 8. Week 9 only has 3 top 25 matchups, but I can guarantee you there will be more than 3 ranked teams that lose. It's going to be a crazy, crazy finish. I think that's the word. Crazy, wild, unpredictable finish from now until the end of the regular season. These rankings are going to shift drastically. The standings are going to change drastically, but that's the beauty of college football. We wouldn't want to have it any other way. We don't like cut and dry. We don't like chalk. We want chaos. We live for chaos, and that's exactly what we're going to get for the rest of the year. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home to our expert picks, some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country. We just had a big, big week in college football. Going to have another one coming up in Week 9. The earlier you sign up for those, the better it's going to be. Again, the link for that down in the description below. And once again, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.